Hello and welcome to the British Baker. Today we're going to be taking a boxed carrot cake and making it taste homemade. So let's get started. Okay, so first off we've got our boxed carrot cake. You can use any brand. Pillsbury's probably best. You've got your water, your oil and your eggs. So first thing we're going to do is put our powdered ingredients into the mixer right here. Don't leave anything behind. That's it, make sure you get it all in. Next thing we're going to add is a cup of water. You can also use whole milk if you want to make it nice and very creamy. Then we're going to use 3/4 cup of vegetable oil. You can also use 3/4 cup of melted butter if you want to. You've got 3 eggs, put those in. That's it. Put the mixer on. You can also do this by hand, but obviously it's easier with a mixer. Next thing we're going to put in is the apple sauce, 1/2 cup of apple sauce. Okay, make sure it's all in there. You can also use crushed pineapple if you want to. And then we've got our 1/2 cup of chopped walnuts, put those in. And 1/2 cup of raisins. You can also use golden raisins if you want to. We've got a teaspoon of ginger. And we also have a teaspoon of cinnamon. If you want to add maybe a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, you can. Okay, so we're going to get ready and put the Baker's Joy or some kind of a spray into the cake pans. This makes light work. You can use obviously melted butter if you want to, but I like doing this a lot quicker. While it's mixing, you get those done. Okay. And now we're going to speed it up, make sure the rest of the mix gets done. You don't want to over mix it, but you want to make sure that all the ingredients are incorporated. Okay, so now we're going to take these out and put them into our buttered pans. Okay, move everything out of the way. You're going to be amazed how much this tastes like a homemade carrot cake without all the effort. Okay, make sure you get all of the remnants of the mixing bowl into the baking pans. Okay, that looks good. Now we're going to put them into the oven at 350 degrees for about 25 minutes. Okay, once your cakes are out and they come out, you put a knife in, it comes out clean, you're good to go. You get your cooling rack and make sure that they're a little bit cool before you put them on the cooling rack. Of course, got to have a Union Jack oven mitt here, put them out. Now I got these pans in a Goodwill shop and they're the best pans I've ever had. 99 cents each, I believe. Always have a look through your Goodwill shops for good pans. Okay, let's put them out onto the tray. That looks good. That looks good too. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do is get ready to do our cream cheese frosting. The frosting is really going to turn this up a notch and just make it really delicious. You're not going to believe how delicious this is. So the first thing we're going to do is put a 1.5 blocks of cream cheese into the mixing bowl. I'm using Philadelphia, but you can actually use anything that you like. I just like to use the name brands, but I'm sure the other ones are just as good. And now I'm using a stick and a half of unsalted butter. I'm going to mix that around. I'm going to speed this up just for time's sake. Make sure that it's all incorporated. That's the main thing. You want your cream cheese and your butter to be very incorporated in the mixer. And then you're going to add 3 teaspoons of vanilla. This is going to make it delicious tasting, helps. And then we're going to use 4 cups of powdered sugar, or icing sugar as they call it in England. As you're putting your icing sugar in, or your powdered sugar, you want to make sure that it ends up being nice and creamy. You don't want any lumps. You can always add milk if you need to. Make sure it's all nice and smooth. Next thing you're going to do is put some round paper. That can either be parchment paper, or you can put on some wax paper. And just make sure you put a little circle on the top of either your plate or your cake stand, whatever you want to use. Put your cake into the center. That's it, put it nice and even, and then you're going to start getting your mixture and putting it into your bag. I'm going to use a disposable gallon bag here. You can use a piping bag, whatever you've got. I like these because you can just throw them away at the end and there's no mess. I'm going to use a big tip. You can use whatever you've got. If you've got a little one, that's fine too. Now you're going to put the cream cheese mixture into the bag, and just make sure that there's no air bubbles in it. And you get a pipe in, you're going to go all the way around. The middle doesn't matter so much because people aren't really going to see that, so you can just smooth that out, make sure it looks nice and even. Put your top layer on, you're going to do the same again. Go all the way around the cake. Then you just want to make sure that there's no holes, so you can add in a little bit of cream cheese where there's a little bit of holes here. And then you have it. You've got a nice carrot cake with cream cheese filling for your guests or your family members, and they're going to enjoy that a lot.